All right. So, Miss Adeline, how was your day today? How are you feeling?
I was quite busy today, actually.
All right. So, thank you for making time for us. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
So we can just wait for a few more minutes. We have like 2-3 minutes. So, anybody else want to warm up the session? Feel like very stiff, guys.
Whoa, okay. What's up, guys? Hope you all are well. It's 3 p.m. Usually people at 3 p.m. on a Saturday be sleeping, but it's really good that all you guys can join us. So kudos to you. I clap for you guys. Okay, so we're very lucky to have Miss Adeline here. Miss Adeline, I heard you are a MMU alumni. Which course did you take when you were in MMU?
International business.
Oh, IB, I see.
Yes. Anyone taking IB here?
Actually, we have in our squad, but she's not here, Jamila.
I see. So most of you guys are from like marketing, HR.
I think Mani is from engineering, right? Mani?
No. I'm from FIST.
Nicholas is from HR. I'm from HR. Akif is marketing, is it? Yep. He's from marketing. Yep. Then we have our old student, Mr. Vincent from banking finance.
Andre, don't say
I'm sorry.
I'm almost the same batch as him,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I just messed up.
Did I just disclose my age?
No. Anyway, you look young as always, Miss Adeline. No problem. So you can fool the audience.
Wow.
Yeah, I should start guess my age, right?
Yeah, that's a good quiz. Nick, you wanna try?
Guess her age. Okay, Mr. Vincent age. How old is he? Mr. Vincent is in. Miss Adeline.
He's 32, 33.
Huh? What, 30?
Mr. Vincent is 32, 33. Is it 30? No way.
Vincent. 30, Vincent.
33 lah.
33 33 right? Because your age
Betul lah.
Mr. Vincent, your best friend doesn't know your age or how?
Vincent, 28 only, 28.
Looking 28, feeling 18,
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Miss Adeline, you're from international business. So how did you get into something like Asia Recruit? It's more of like HR type of it's more of a HR area. So how did you make the transition? Why from international business then you go into HR, this sort of thing?
Good question. Okay, so just like you guys, when you guys are like, when I was an MMU student, right? So practically, I do not know what I want to do. Okay, so they would just say, oh, why don't you just take international business so that in future you can venture into marketing or HR or anything to do with business. So I was like, okay, so I'll just take up international business first. Then so upon graduation, I got my first job as a HR and admin exec, okay, in a Japanese company, Konica Minolta in Malacca, for about 3 years there. All right. Okay. So what I did was I did handle like recruitment, employee relations, welfare, and I sort of quite interested in recruitment. So that is why I actually went into this recruitment agency, okay, Asia Recruit, as an external recruiter. So I think it's because probably I can, be more specialized in recruitment as compared to at the end user side. So I think pretty much that's one of the reasons how I actually got into HR. I would say by chance, and thankfully, I do like it. Okay, so that is why I'm still stuck in this recruitment field for about 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long have you been at Asia Recruit?
8 years. Still
8 years.
ongoing.
Wow.
Must be very smooth.
This is my second job.
Wow, 8 years.
Yeah, I also couldn't believe I'm here for 8 years. Yeah.
Wow. Mr. Vincent, how long have you been working at MMU?
Since 2012. Yeah.
Oh,
He was
also,
in the marketing department first, right?
Yeah.
also 8 years.
Yeah.
Seems like we are very loyal, right, to our
Tapi
company.
I rasa I work like more than 20 years dah kat FMU ni.
Vincent, you know why? Because you have to add up the years that you are in MMU as a student.
Oh
So
yeah.
that is why you feel like 20 years.
Kalau
You know?
dah 30 years dah.
Ooh, okay,
But
okay.
actually, honestly speaking, I kind of envy you, Vincent. At
What?
least, right, I kind of envy you because
Ah.
you're surrounded with by all these youngsters, So every time you will, like you
Yeah.
feel yourself like 20 plus again or 18.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Some of my students look older than me, okay? I was like, what's your
Yeah.
age?
Yeah. If let's just say back in corporate world, right, you'll meet like 30s, 40s, 50, even 60s.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not in my company lah. Yeah.
Because Mr. Vincent is a person who he doesn't have much power distance with the students. So it makes us very, very, very comfortable talking to him. We can just go to his room, lepak with the aircon, like talk a lot of rubbish, and then we just have fun and like that. So we became very close, lah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's how he stay young, right?
Yeah. But we feel kind of old sometimes talking to him,
Oh my.
All right. So I think we do have like around 15 participants in this meeting itself. And then, Mr. Vincent, you're streaming in Instagram, right?
Yep. So
Yep,
we give another maybe 2 more minutes, Sanjay, before we
2
start.
more minutes. All right. So while waiting, Miss Adeline, maybe you can share what do you think about Enlight's effort doing all this for students?
Yeah, so basically, I think this is a very great effort by you guys, okay? Because back then, we don't have this kind of platform, and there's no one to actually share with us like ideas or like having like speakers to come on board to give, some advice such as that. So what we need to do is we are hoping like MMU will actually organize like some speakers to come over and get all of us to, join it. But nothing much on like like this kind of like online podcast kind of activity. So I think it's actually a very great effort from you guys lah.
Great, thank you. All right, so we just wait for a few more minutes, then we can just be on the air.
Well, guys, imagine this. In 3 more days, you guys can go and sit in the mama.
Hey, can
Oh, really? Yeah.
Now can already, can dine in already.
Oh,
But who dares lah? I tak berani lah.
yeah, true that.
Yeah.
Ooh. But even though it's like CMCO period, I just went to town only. I just came back. Then I saw town was so jammed. I have no idea why so many people out.
Yes, I was from town just now as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Why is not beginning?
So most of you are
Miss
actually
Adelene.
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
What?
You go ahead first.
No, you go ahead.
That was like perfect timing.
Oh, nothing. I wanted to.
Nisha.
What is it?
What is it again?
No, because I wanted to say, because we got still a little bit more time, so I thought break the ice a bit, tell a little bit of joke.
Can
Oh yeah, talking
just go
about
ahead.
jokes. Nick,
What's up?
talking about jokes. Can you up close your face a bit?
Hey, this is the best joke. The best joke in the world.
Man, I miss you guys, man. Like the
Ooh.
jokes, the laughter. It's been like 3 months, never seen any humans except for yesterday in AR.
Miss Adeline, are you a what's it called? Are you a K-pop person?
Wow. I never
Yes,
saw
I
that.
Are you a
am.
K-pop person? You're a K-pop person now. How okay? Ask you this question. How does an onion say hello in Korean?
Yes, I am. Sort of.
Can you hear me? How 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. Hello. Was that correct?
Wow.
Yeah, that was correct.
You're blending together. Yeah, that should be.
What's the other one? Is Sanjay, what else I told you before?
I don't know. I don't remember, man. I mean, actually, I have a list of jokes. Let me browse it up.
Nick, do you know, like during our internship, right? Okay, when Sanjay was with us, we have a lot of virtual meetings, right? Okay, so one of his job scope is actually to entertain us during our meeting. So what he did was sing birthday songs for us, okay, and also did magic tricks, play his guitar,
Wow.
and sing us more songs.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That was yeah.
Sanjay, I know what.
I have no choice, man. I mean, like, they threatened to fail me, you know.
Sanjay, I know now. Next time, for my nephew's birthday, you can come for the show. You know.
Oh yeah.
This song.
I can. Yeah, man. I mean, can la what to do, right? Yeah. So.
But it sounds like so much fun. I every time see like Sanjay post, and then I see also Nisha post. Nisha be singing, Sanjay be playing guitar.
Oh yeah.
It's just recruit them
Nick,
chill.
you should secure your internship right now, Nick. You book with Miss Adeline right now. Send your resume today. In 2 years, you can go for internship already.
Oh, Nick,
It was
2 years?
fun in AR.
Nick, you are not at your final years, is it?
Oh no! I'm actually a first year student. First year third sem. I'm going into my second year this
Oh,
July.
You sound like a final year, right?
Yeah, he sounds like a final year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Nick is a cool guy, very inspiring guy. So yeah,
Sanjay is the most
he does sound
inspiring
like
one.
Wow. Do we need this now, Nick?
Wow.
Right.
So sweet, Eddie.
Okay, Sanjay,
So
you
Vincent,
start.
how? All
Start.
right.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
cool,
so we have like 18 participants. We have also a lecturer, Miss Maria. Welcome to the club. Can we hear your voice? Because I'm very excited when I see lecturers in here.
Hello.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so today's session would be a TI session. It's our third session, correct, everyone?
Yes.
Yep. So today's topic will be about understanding the Malaysian's biggest job portal, which is JobStreet, effectively writing your resume, how to write it for fresh graduates, and how to prep yourself for interview. So we have our speaker today, Miss Adeline. She is a former student of MMU, who is also a graduate, where she's currently working at Asia Recruit as one of the recruiter. And yeah, Miss Adeline, maybe you can introduce a little bit about yourself to our audience.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Hope you all guys have your lunch ready. So basically, I graduated from MMU in international business. Okay, so I started off my career as a HR and admin executive in a Japanese-based company called Konica Minolta in Malacca for about 3 years. Okay, doing HR recruitments, employee relations, welfare, and some administrative work. Okay, so after 3 years, I decided to really focus on recruitment. So that is why I moved forward to join Asia Recruit, a recruitment agency in Malacca. So I'm here for about 8 years now. All right. So there, here am I sharing some of the tips for you guys to actually really understand how's the job market like currently, especially during this difficult time. Okay, as well as to share some of the insights or some of the tips about JobStreet. Okay, Malaysia's biggest job portal. I think every one of you should know JobStreet by now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so other than that, also in terms of how we recruiters actually view your resumes, your profile, and as well as how should you prepare yourself for an interview. Okay, so these are the three main topics that I will actually touch now. Okay, so first of all, it's important for you to actually understand about recruiters. There's two types of recruiters. There's internal recruiter and external recruiters. All right. So for internal recruiters, which means the HR in a company. Okay, and external recruiters would be like me. Okay, a recruitment consultant. From
Miss Adeline, your
to
line is breaking.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, now it's okay. You can
That's
proceed.
better. Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of as a fresh grad, when you start to, you want to apply for a job, right? You will start to think whether you should apply a job through directly to the company, the HR, or whether through external recruiters like us. Okay. So I will actually list down the pros and cons for both. So when you click on like job street, right, you can see job advertisements from companies, and then there is job advertisements from recruitment agencies. Okay, the difference is if you actually apply to companies directly, okay, you are aware of which company that you applied to. Okay, for example, HR and executive position. So okay, I'm applying for Infineon, for instance. Okay, so but then for external recruiters, I mean for agency part, right, you do not know which company that you apply to, because in the job advertisement we will only show the job title and the job description. So
Okay.
you know that the job scope, but you do not know which company you applied to until they call you. Okay. So for the cons, all right, the cons for internal recruiter, I mean applying to a company is, there's like thousands of applicants, right? So you just submit and click the apply button and wait, but no calls from them. Okay, and you do not know how to actually reach them to ask how's your application like. So I think most of you guys will not do that, right? Like personally call the company and ask, oh, how's my application? I applied for this job, this and that. I just want to follow up. I think most of the applicants does not do that. Okay, so in fact, if you apply through an agency, okay, like us, so what we will do is we will actually help you to follow up very closely with the HR. Okay, we have good connections with the HR and even the hiring managers, because sometimes we do liaise with the hiring managers. So for example, right, if the HR actually reject this application, okay, for example, Sanjay, you applied to this position and the HR bounce back say, oh, rejected. Okay, so for us here, we will actually question the HR. How come this profile is rejected? Sanjay has this skill. It matched to your requirements, this and that. So we can actually negotiate, and we actually can help to promote your profile as compared to you directly apply to the company itself, because you do not have the, you do not have the connection that you actually can talk personally to the HR or to the hiring manager itself. So there's the pros and cons. Of course, like when you apply to an agency, you will not know which company that you applied to in the first place until they call you. Okay, so that's the difference between internal and external recruiters. And another thing is because as an external recruiter, we are so focused on recruitment, so our job are purely on the sourcing for the companies. Okay, so whereas like HR, they are not only focusing on recruitment as only, because they have to do a lot of back-end jobs like interview arrangement, meeting the hiring managers, and then they have to, do all those administrative and paperwork, salary proposals. So they have tons of things to do. So they are quite busy. So they don't really have that time to actually screen your resumes properly. So that's the difference lah. Okay, all right. So in terms of job street, so here's something. Let me share my screen. You hold on for a moment. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Guys, can you see the screen?
Nope, not yet.
No.
No.
Hold on. How about now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I think. Okay. So everyone has a JobStreet account, is it? Has everyone has a JobStreet account now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, some of you still haven't created yet. I mean, like Nick, of course, that's like your first year. I don't think you need it, right?
That's why they are here to learn about that, because they don't have an account. Most of them.
Okay, so for soon to be fresh graduate in months to come, all right, so get yourself registered to JobStreet, because that's like Malaysia's biggest job portal. Okay, so get yourself registered, fill all the details, all right. And here are some of the things. This is my profile. I just want to show you some of the things that I can share with you. Okay, so when you register yourself, you log in, so you'll come to this homepage. Okay, so you can see under this My Job Street, right, is where you can actually update your profile. Okay, so here is where you can actually, edit your profile. And you can see on this left-hand side, they have like experience, education, skills, and all the items that you can actually fill out. So one of the biggest mistake that fresh graduate they don't really do, is actually update all this. Okay, because they will just straight away upload their resumes here. They have a perfect resume, but then they just upload the resume, but they don't write anything in front. Okay, so why do I actually emphasize this, for you guys to, really go through and fill up all these details one by one, is because we as recruiters, right, when we, how we view your resume through JobStreet is like this. Let me show you an example. Okay. So this is how you will look like when you don't update anything.
It's very empty.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you can see that from here, I'll remain this as confidential, so there is no names and all the contact numbers. So basically, I only can see your names and your contact number, your emails, and then most of them will just update fresh graduate chemical engineering engineer, that I don't get anything, and then we will have your education details, language, and that's it. Okay, so for us as a recruiter, how do we expect, like, how you guys expect us to actually, shortlist you for a position whereby we don't get any information from this resume?
Yeah.
Right? Even though that you guys upload your resume over here, right? There's one column here later on if you actually uploaded your resume here. But then again, it actually takes the time of recruiter to actually come in and then click and download it just to view your resume.
Yeah.
So rule number one, please update your JobStreet resume. Put some effort and update it nicely. Then only you actually upload your resume. Okay.
All right.
So that is one thing that I need to really emphasize. There's another platform in JobStreet for recruiters, whether is it internal or external recruiters, where we have this thing called resume search. Okay, so resume search is whereby it's like a not JobStreet database, whereby any applicants actually register themselves in JobStreet, their profile will actually appear here. Okay. The only thing that it's confidential, they do not disclose the name, their contact details, unless we actually purchase a credit to open it. Okay, so for us like headhunters, right, or recruiters, if there is like certain position that we actually would like to source for, right? So hold on, let me check whether I can open this up. So for example, this, okay, so it gives us like we will actually hesitate to see whether should we actually pay to open this resume or not, because there's not much information here. But if you spend your time and actually put down all the information in detail here. So it gives us confidence to actually say that, oh, okay, this profile is not bad. I can actually, open and see whether this candidate would like to explore or not. Okay, so that is why I keep on emphasizing the importance to actually fill this up. It actually increases your chance to be seen by recruiters. Okay?
Okay.
So another thing is this privacy setting. You can see over here. Okay, there's two. One is searchable with contact details and one is not searchable. So for this is you do not allow employers to search for your profile. But if you are an active job seeker, I will always recommend you to actually put it here, searchable with contact details.
Okay.
So which means like recruiters like us and employers can actually see your profile, okay? And that's how they will actually approach you through jobs, although you do not apply directly to their companies, okay? So if you put not searchable, we actually couldn't find you in JobStreet at all. Yeah, so for all fresh grad job seekers, please at least click over here. Please click here, searchable with contact details.
All right, sure. Okay, thank you for the brief introduction on the JobStreet, Miss Adelene. Is there anything you would like to add on the JobStreet?
That's all. This is just the main thing that I would like to emphasize for JobStreet.
All right, so we can move to the next contact of the interview where we are talking about resume. When fresh graduates construct a resume, what are the common mistakes they usually do based on experiences?
Okay, for resume wise, right, the first thing I would say, I think I should share you an example of a good resume and a bad resume, good and bad resume, so that you kind of will have this kind of idea what is good and what is bad. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so while waiting for Miss Adeline to share the document, if anybody in Google Meet and also in the Insta Live, if you guys have any kind of question, please drop the question and we'll actually ask the question on behalf, all right? So don't be afraid, just ask anything. These are good information, right? If you have any doubts, you want to know any tips, please ask, all right? All right. Then you may proceed.
Okay. Can you actually see my screen?
Yes.
Can. Okay. So there's these two examples here. Okay. So this is example number 1. Okay. So I would say this is actually a bad resume because I don't get any details at all. There's no important or valuable information that we can actually see from this resume besides your contacts and your education background and some of your skill. That's all.
This actually can you zoom in a bit?
Yeah, hold on, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see clearer?
Yeah, better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you can see there's no photos. Just briefly saying that I'm looking for a sales and marketing position. I have my contact details and very brief on the education background, especially on your work experience. I don't get any info at all. Okay, so as an employer as well as a recruiter, we do not know whether we should actually call this person or not. So usually what we'll do, we'll just skip this profile first and move to a profile that gives us more information and details. Okay. All right. So this is the second example that I would like to share with you. Okay. You can see the difference, right?
Yeah. There's like more.
You see like there's more words, right? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So for resume wise, it's important to actually, I would suggest you to actually put a profile picture. Okay. And when I talk about profile picture, make sure it's not a selfie picture or a picture that you post on Facebook, Instagram, no full body pictures. And I do not actually recommend passport pictures as well, because you know passport photos doesn't always look good, right? They always like have this kind of the kind of sour face, or either you look very ugly or you look very angry, that kind of face. So get someone to actually take a very proper photo of yourself. Make sure you smile, look more approachable, so that we as recruiter can feel, oh, okay, this guy or this girl is, yeah.
It plays an important role.
Yes. And reality is all of us are visual kind of people. So make sure you put your best photo, the most good looking one, the most beautiful one. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So secondly, another common mistake that a lot of candidates do is that they focus on the design of the entire resume. They will have fancy kind of designs, this and that, where you can get online, and they do not put the most important information, which is their contact details. Many resumes that we receive actually they actually forget to put their contact details, their emails, their phone number, even though the resume is good, but we have no idea how to actually contact that person. Yeah. So make sure that these details are clearly stated in the resume. All right. Then another tips is, if let's just say you have a LinkedIn account, anyone here knows about LinkedIn besides Sanjay?
I think the Enlighters do.
The Enlighters do, right?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, LinkedIn is like a more like a professional kind of social media platform, I would say, whereby there's a lot of professionals and employers engage with each other in this platform. So if you guys do not have LinkedIn, especially for the fresh graduate for the final year, please get yourself registered on that. Okay, I will not go very detailed on LinkedIn. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so basically another thing that you can actually add on is the education background. Okay, so for example, for myself, degree in international business from MMU, you can actually put your CGPA if your CGPA is good. Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
How I would define is if let's just say you are about 3.3 and above, you can actually still put it there. Okay, but if you are actually at the lower side, I would suggest don't even put at all. You don't even need to put like whether you're second class upper. Just leave it.
Just leave it. Okay.
Just leave it. Okay. The reason is that we don't give an opportunity to recruiters to reject you based on your CGPA.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Yes, because you may have a slightly lower CGPA, but doesn't mean that you do not have the skills and like you enroll into a lot of projects and activities throughout your university years, right? So that can actually give more value as compared to the CGPA alone. But of course, the pointers is very important for you to get into a very good and more well-established company. Okay, but if in case that your CGPA is slightly at the lower side, I would suggest you not to actually put it at all. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Okay, and you can see that here I did include like some of the courses like international marketing, communication. Okay, so what most common mistakes that not only fresh grad, even like us as an applicant that we do is we actually create one resume for all positions. Okay, so for example, we create one resume, but we apply for like HR, we apply for marketing, we apply for logistics, procurement, everything based on the same resume. The trick is you need to actually customize your resume based on the position that you applied. So for example, if you are applying for a marketing job, everything in your resume has to showcase like your marketing skills, negotiating skills, anything that actually related to the position that you applied to. So for example, I give you this example like, all right, so you're applying for this job, sales and marketing executive. So this is the JD, okay, the job description that you see in JobStreet or any job portals. So the first thing that you need to study is identify the keywords. What are the keywords from this job advertisement. So for example here, overseeing and developing marketing campaigns. So marketing campaign is a keyword. Conducting research and analyze data, all right? And you can see here like set marketing schedule and coordinates with like colleagues, sponsor, media representatives, develop like sales and promotion strategies, organizing events, social media. So these are the keywords that you yourself, you really need to study the JD and understand it, okay? So the tip is you have to modify or customize your resume based on these keywords. Okay, so I'm actually applying for sales and marketing executive position, right? So you know, like in international business, there's a lot of course. You have marketing, you have economics, you have accounting, such as that. So I only pick those that actually related to this sales and marketing job. For example, international marketing, fundamental of marketing, okay, and communication, such as that. Okay, so if you're applying for a HR job, so you have to put the courses that's related to HR. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you get it.
So
okay.
you can't put something that is not related into what you're applying for.
Yes,
it's not relevant.
Exactly. It's not relevant at all. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So maybe we can open for questions from the floor, where we also have people from this Google Meet asking questions. One of the questions is from Mr. Mani. Yeah, you ask about what is the recommended pages, number of pages for a resume.
If you're talking about fresh, I would say 1 to 2 max, 2 pages max. Because again, I would say that HR and recruiters, we do not have so much time to actually, read all the details in your resume. So try to keep it simple, short, but informative.
All right, it's very helpful. Do you have any follow-up question? I believe it does answer your question, right? Okay, so we can follow with the next question is about dress code on the photo of the resume. Any dress code recommendation for men and women?
You mean dress code for the photo of the resume, is it?
The profile picture.
The profile picture.
See. The best if you can dress it formal and looks professional. That's the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. Exactly.
Yes, that's why I say no Facebook picture. That's why I say no Facebook, Instagram photos, okay?
All right. Okay, so anybody else from this Google Meet would like to ask any questions, you can unmute your mic and you can ask any questions to Ms. Adelene. And if anyone would like to look for a job, you can send a resume to her email address. You can actually look at in the screen. Do you have the email address, Ms. Adelene? You don't have an invitation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick has
a
question. He asked whether is it wearing a coat better? Will it give the candidate a better chance or not?
Oh, you mean for the profile picture or during interview?
Profile picture, eh?
I think he's referring to the profile picture.
I would say it doesn't make much difference as long as you look presentable.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, it does answer the question of Patrick. Thank you, Patrick, for the question. Anybody else would like to ask questions regarding the resume topic before we move on to the interview?
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name is Maria over here. I would like to ask about the resume.
Hi, Maria.
Hi. Thank you very much for the sharing. I would like to ask about the resume. Nowadays, we have so many fancy format of resume. Okay, and then so do you think should the students, when they want to do their resume, use the latest format or template of resume, or sometimes they are using just a typical Microsoft Word with just normal typing in that Microsoft Word? So which one do you think is better? Is it just typical Microsoft Word, or use a certain template for resume for the student to do? Thank you.
Okay, for me, I would say if you are not really that good in like formatting, I would recommend you to use the not, I wouldn't say the very fancy kind of, CV formatting, okay? But if you are that kind of person who can actually, do formatting very well, I would suggest you to do it on just the typical Microsoft Words kind of resume. But for us, I will strongly still prefer to look at resume to those like traditional kind of, typical resumes that using Microsoft Words as compared to the fancy ones, because most of the resumes that we receive, right, the fancy ones, right, we don't get a lot of details because I think they might have some limitation where they don't put a lot of informative in it. So I would always like suggest go straight to the point, give us the information. The design is not that important to us. Unless you're applying for jobs like digital marketing or maybe like anything related to do with design. Okay, so that is where maybe you probably would like to showcase your template, your design templates. Okay, so if other than that, if just like other typical kind of engineering, IT, or even like business kind of position, just Microsoft Words will do.
All right, because I also noticed that a fancy template of the resume, somehow the spaces to provide the additional information quite not that big. So
Yes,
so
exactly.
I agree lah. Better typical rather than those who are good in the digital or something else or IT should go for the fancy one lah. All right, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, thank you, Ms. Maria, for the question, and thanks, Ms. Adeline, for answering. We also have another follow-up question from Mr. Akif, one of the students, and also an enlightened. He asked, what do you think is a good number of courses / education to put without being too overwhelming in the resume?
Oh, I would say just put your top 2 to top 3, which means, for example, if you have a master, you can just put master degree, or if you have a diploma, you can just put diploma, but you don't need to put your SPM in it.
How about their achievements in university or any courses they have done?
Okay, that is actually a very good question. It's actually very, very important to include the courses as well as all the projects and achievement in your resume. Yeah, especially your achievement and projects. That's the main thing that most recruiters are looking for besides your job responsibility.
All right. So recently, Enlight and with Mr. Vincent in it, Mr. Vincent just started an organization, a small one in MMU, which is called the Changemaker, which actually encourage students to enter competitions. And students actually, they do not know these exposures before this. So how do you think is it very important for students to enter competition so that it helps them to get a job in the future? Is it important?
Yes, it is actually very important because I would say that as a student, pointers is not everything. Of course, it's important to get good grades, but I would say that it's not everything. Okay, so what a manager, an employer actually looking for is not only on the grades, but also on the soft skills that you guys have. So, for example, like communication skills is very important. Okay, I think many of the fresh graduate are lacking of this, and also in terms of how you can actually manage like a project, like event management, and to pick up some of those like analytical kind of skills, whereby you can join competition to gain those kind of exposures and experience. So for me, it's actually very, very important for you to join competitions, enroll to any societies, take up some responsibility, take up any positions in your society. Okay, so whereby in future, when you want to graduate, right, there's something to write in your resume rather than you have nothing to write in your resume.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, imagine you are like a 4-flat student or maybe like a first-class student, but you do not have like other skills besides studying. Yeah, so what do you want to, what other info that you actually can include in your resume besides your 4.0?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks, for, Ms. Adeline. So the other few questions regarding resume, we will hold it for a while because we have a few more topics to go, and all the other questions will be compiled and be answered in the upcoming videos. So maybe we can move on to the common mistakes that candidates do during interview, Ms. Adeline.
Okay, the most common mistake, number one, is they are not prepared at all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why do I say this? It is not only in terms of preparation of the documents required by the HR, okay, but also in terms of like not preparing themselves for the interview, not doing any research about the company, not studying about the company background, okay, not understanding the position that they applied to, okay. And for example, we have like candidates that we ask, what do you understand about this position? Sorry, I do not know. So that's not the answer that we would like to hear. Okay. So yeah, that I would say not being prepared is the most common mistake by fresh graduate nowadays. Okay. And another thing is not being punctual. If you are going to be late, make sure that you actually inform the company or the recruiters at least like 30 minutes earlier, so that we are well informed and we can actually inform the hiring manager. Because you know why? Because managers actually are very busy, so they sort of like make themselves available during that time just to interview you. So so you as a job seeker should be punctual, not late. But when I say punctual, it's not to come very early, like an hour early. That's a no-no also. Okay. So around 15 minutes will do. 15 minutes earlier will do, but not an hour. You will actually like disrupt their work and stuff like that. Okay.
All right, that's very helpful. So, Ms. Adeline, how do you think it's important for students to have a good communication skills?
Sorry,
Is it
again?
very important? Is it very important for students to have good communication skills?
Yes, most definitely. That is actually one of the main reason why most fresh graduates didn't manage to get the job.
Yeah.
Because of their communication skills. Okay, so I understand that English may not be some of you guys' first language or mother tongue, but I think this can be trained. All right. And most important is, like I mentioned earlier, that you need to prepare yourself. Write a script. If you actually are not really good in talking, you just write a script. Look at yourself in the mirror and keep on practicing. That's the thing that
that's
I think.
That's a very good tip.
Yeah. So you keep on practicing, maybe like for days or even weeks before the interview session. That will actually help to boost up your confidence level a little bit.
All right. So maybe we can move on to what are the important KSAO, knowledge, skills, abilities in college that students can learn to prepare themselves for a job interview or a job market.
Okay, so like I mentioned, besides the soft skills like like social skills, communication skills, I think one of the skills that most fresh grad are lacking of would be their Microsoft Excel skills. Okay, so Excel is actually very important in the corporate world. Okay, so okay, for example, let me ask you guys, like Nick, for example, how would you actually rate your Excel skill from 1 to 10?
Don't fall in the trap.
1 to 10.
I fell yesterday.
I would say maybe the very basic formula, like sum everything up or minus that one is totally fine. So I would rate it about 4. Yeah, just to get the job done for basic assignment purposes. I would rate myself as a 4.
As a
somewhere
4.
there.
Hope
4 is not high now.
Sanjay actually rated himself 7 yesterday.
Wow, you remember?
Yes, yeah. And then I throw him question like, what do you know about Excel?
and I got a 2 out of 10 at last. So
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So for me, I would say, please brush up your Excel skill. Is very important. And like for example, in the resume, right? Please do not put your Excel skill as advanced. Okay. Even for us who work for 10 years, we do not dare to even put it as advanced, because there's like VBAs, there's like VLOOKUPs, pivot table, there's so many other functions that most of you guys do not know. Okay. So the best is, in your resume, just put the skill Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, but you do not you don't rate yourself whether you are a intermediate level or advanced or beginner, such as that. I would suggest not to lah, to be on the safe side.
Oh.
to not fall in the trap again, yeah? Okay, so Mr. Vincent, maybe you want to summarize Patrick's question?
Yeah, that's right. Hold on. Okay, Patrick has a question on the one that you mentioned about punctuality, right? So he said, what is the chances to secure the job? He say that differ in attending the interview, even though you have all those experience. What will be their impression? What will be the recruiter's impression?
Oh, you mean if you were to defer the interview to reschedule to another date, is it?
Yes.
I think rescheduling is still okay, provided that you give them a very solid reason. It depends what is the reasons. Okay, and it's best that you actually inform the recruiters maybe 1 to 2 days earlier instead of on that day itself, unless it's an emergency. But overall, it's still okay. But you only, I would suggest that to actually reschedule one time, and don't make it the second or third time. Because after that, it will actually not be a very, very good impression to the employers already.
All right. So thank you for the question. I hope it answers Patrick's question. So the next one would be, how do you, as an interviewee, define a good impression?
Okay, number one is how presentable you look. Okay, the first impression. Okay, how presentable you look. Okay, and second thing is the way, I would just say like the way that you sit, the posture during interview session. Yeah, I have interviewed candidates who actually sit like this. Seriously.
Boss.
Macam boss
like
lah,
Adelene,
macam boss. Yes, I do have. Or even like this. You know? Yeah, so imagine yourself. I will always say that you need to put yourself in the shoe of the hiring manager. Will you hire this kind of people or not? Right?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, so whatever you do, you just need to put yourself in their shoe. Very simple. Is that the employee that you want? Is that the candidate that you actually employ or not, with this kind of behavior and attitude? And I would say attitude is everything. Attitude is everything, because I would say like many fresh graduate nowadays, they feel like they know everything. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would say, please, stay humble. Don't be arrogant. Although you're like a first class student, you are the best student in uni or anything like that, but you are the best in your university only, not in the corporate world. Okay. So always stay humble. Okay. Don't be arrogant. You can be confident, but not arrogant. Okay, there's a difference between arrogant and confident. Okay, so when you interview, when you do your interview, or when you're answering your question, don't sound cocky, don't sound like, oh, you know everything, such as that. Okay, so attitude is everything, and a lot of managers actually rejected that particular candidate. Is not because they do not have the skill, it's not because they do not have the good grades, it's because of the attitude. Attitude is everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Not great. Yep. Okay, so next question from Ms. Adeline is, usually when you go for an interview, the interviewee will ask you one question, which is, tell me about yourself. But still, most students make mistakes. What are the mistakes?
I would say that I wouldn't say like mistake is sometimes you will go into to tell too much about yourself. Okay, some things are not that important. All right. So the theme is actually very simple. First you start by introducing yourself, your name, okay, where you are from, okay, and then straight away go to your education background, okay. And then you can also say like what are the courses that you have been taken during your studies or outside of your studies, anything like that. And then you can move on to telling them like what are the activities you have done, what are the projects that you have done. Only take the majors one. You don't need to tell every single one of them, or something that you are proud of. Okay. And then if you have any achievement, you can just tell them one or two of your major achievements. So that's all. You don't need to tell about your family. You don't need to talk about other stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just straight to the point only.
All right. Okay. So there are some candidates who also likes to ask like they answer a question like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So what are your advice to them? How can they actually improve themselves to talk? Any portals, any channels that they can actually learn on how to speak, improve themselves before the interview?
Oh, we have Google. You can always Google. It depends whether you take the effort to actually go on YouTube to learn, or whether you can just go on. You just Google. Google is everything nowadays.
All right. So I hope everybody heard that. Those who are in the live, you can just Google.
The main thing is to put effort. You just need to put effort to do your own research.
Yep.
Yeah, and not expecting people to spoon feed you.
Exactly. A follow-up question by Patrick. What is your strength and weaknesses? This is a common interview question, right? So but even if you ask an average student, what is your strength and weaknesses, they might not know what are the strength and weaknesses. So any advice on that?
You should know your strength and weaknesses. Okay. You shouldn't say that you do not have any strength. Okay, just take a moment, think about it. What is your strength? Okay, maybe like for Sanjay, you can say you have very good communication skills, okay? And then if you have good like leadership skills, okay? The trick is whenever you emphasize on the strength, like for example, I have good leadership skills, okay? And you have to back up with an example. For example, you have to say, one of my biggest strengths is I have good leadership skills. Okay, I have led several projects for my assignments, or maybe this event or that event, such as that. So you always must back up something for each of your strengths. So when people ask you what is your strength, you don't just say that I'm hardworking. I'm hardworking. I have good leadership skills, this and that. But you have to support with evidence. Yeah. Okay. So for in terms of weaknesses, right? Okay, this is actually a very tricky question. Number one, don't say I do not have any weaknesses, because everyone has weaknesses.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, and then always choose the weaknesses that doesn't really impact much on the position that you applied to. Okay, so for example, if you are applying for sales and marketing position, you don't say, I'm actually a very shy person. I do not dare to actually communicate with people.
A bit.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
One of the tricks for weaknesses is you, instead of saying my weaknesses is blah 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 blah, you can say what I think I can improve on. For example, what I can improve on my Excel skills. But currently I'm taking courses, or I've been Googling or like learning from YouTube, such as that. So you have to say your weaknesses, and then what do you do to actually improve your shortcomings.
Interesting. I can see everybody taking note at that point of the
including me.
of the answer.
Everything must be
everybody.
positive. You have to sound positive. When you say weaknesses, it's already like very negative. So you have to say something that I would improve on, this and that. Yeah.
Because in my interview with Asia Recruit, Miss Adeline was my interviewer. So she asked me that question. And I'm not sure how I answered that, so it gives me a flashback. All right, so we can move on to the next question by one of the Google Meet participants. Do they really interested? I mean, the interviewer. Do they really interested in information such as sport achievements? Will it fetch higher chances of getting a job?
Okay, when you're talking about sports achievement, yes, we can say how active you are, but you have to emphasize like what kind of skills or knowledge that you actually gain through this kind of activity.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the values
Yes,
behind
yes,
it.
yes, exactly.
All right. So anybody else from the floor would like to ask question? You can just unmute your mic and ask, no problem.
Yeah, Miss Adelene, I want to ask. This is regarding
Akif,
the
Akif.
sport.
Sorry?
What? Akif. Oh, Akif want to ask, is it?
Never mind, Nick, you go first. You go first.
Nick, go first.
Okay. So Miss Adelene, as I was saying, we're talking about sports-based achievement now. So as you say, when we are learning, when we are explaining about sports-based achievement, you have to say like what type of like
Values.
thing you learn behind this type of thing, right? What if like in this type of situation, for example, back then while I was in foundation, I used to take dragon boat. So sometimes dragon boating, we have other things like kayaking, and it's this type of sports are considered as extreme based sports. Does this type of sport that you do have any impact? Let's just say when you hold this type of like position out on sea, you are guiding a whole group of people out on sea. This type of very it's a leadership position, but it's not in terms of managing people, but it's in terms of safety, in terms of actually making sure everything is okay like that.
Yeah, definitely. But besides that, it actually shows, like for example, dragon boat, right? Like you were saying, right? Not only shows on leadership skill, but it also shows teamwork. Okay.
Yep.
It also shows teamwork. Yeah. So there are the values that we actually can actually see in it. Yeah. Besides, like okay. So and you were saying that what were you saying again in terms of the security part?
Okay.
For
So this
example?
is on more on in MMU. There's this type of activities such as kayaking, and it's more on sometimes you go and kayak out on sea. So it's a different type of leadership in terms of a sports-based scenario. So this is in terms of safety, making sure everybody is safe. So it's an extreme.
Understand. I get what you mean. So there is like one sense of like a sense of like responsibility, I would say, that you will have that kind of sense of responsibility. So that's something that you can actually highlight to them, that you are actually a responsible kind of person, especially whereby like during this kind of activities, you need to ensure the safety of all the team members and this and that. And what are the measures that you actually take to ensure the safety of the whole group? Yeah. Something that you can actually use it as a supporting evidence to support your your strengths.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks,
I
Nick.
have a question.
Yep.
I have a question which I will summarize Akif's question. So he says that some of us, we are very active in events or activities. So when we update our resume, should we put since we are from high school up to university, or only university?
Only university, unless you have like amazing like really great or major kind of achievement during your high school. But I would say mainly in universities, unless you have nothing to write.
University never enter anything high school. Okay, if say we write only university, should we include all or only the major achievement?
I would say the major achievement, or any achievement that can directly brings value to the position that you applied to.
There's one more question on regards of resume. Will you recommend creating a summary /profile/career objective section on your resume?
Yes, I would actually, prefer someone to actually, like summarize your overall resume in terms of your education, your what are the activities or your projects. If you have any working experience, you can, do a short summary on that, no problem. But what I don't really recommend is nowadays cover letters. I don't think that is really necessary nowadays because, like I mentioned earlier, most of the recruiters do not really have time to, read through your cover letters. We will just straight to their resume. Yeah, so I think you can just skip the cover letter part, but you can just add a short summary about yourself in your resume.
Right, good. Okay,
All right,
Mani, do you have? I think Mani have a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
One question.
Okay. My
Yep.
question is okay. Currently, I'm at my final year of a master degree. Okay. Okay. So currently, I'm writing my thesis. So my question is, in my resume, can I put my master's degree as one of the highest qualification?
Okay, but you have actually completed your master's degree already or not? Or just waiting for the convocation or waiting for the results?
No, currently writing my thesis, going to finish within this year.
Within this year. I would suggest that you can put master's degree December 2020.
Oh,
You can include it, but you have to put that word ongoing, expected completion date, like maybe end of 2020. Or if you have any courses that you are currently taking but still ongoing, for example, like maybe like for accounting ACCA, right? You can actually put ACCA completed how many papers, expected completion date, maybe 2021, such as that.
all right. Miss Adeline, a personal question from me. Yeah. Right now we are having an MCO. The economy is doing very, very bad. How do you think about the employment trend currently? How is it going?
Honestly speaking, the job market is quite low nowadays. Okay, but not really for IT. Okay, so IT is blooming, and also on those like e-commerce, digital marketing. These are the industries are growing. Okay, but if we are talking about like manufacturing, such as that, many companies actually do retrenchment within these 1 to 2 months. So I would say this year will be slightly a tough year compared to the previous years for fresh graduates. But then again, don't take this as something negative lah. But if let's just say you really have difficulty to secure a job, what I would suggest that in between, equip yourself or go and get some self-development programs or courses that actually can enhance your overall skills later.
All right, cool. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Please, for those who just joined the meeting, we're actually with Ms. Adeline, one of the recruiter, and she's an alumni of MMU, who is here for us. She's enlightening us about the employment world. How can you prepare a better resume, interview, and more? So any other questions do we have for her? No questions from Mani. Okay, anything else? Mr. Vincent, do you have any questions?
From my side, don't have.
All right, so the live video is okay. Maybe I can ask about currently a lot of students are looking for a job. Like, what really makes you special in the employment market? How do you stand out from other people?
How do we stand out? Like I mentioned just now, you have to get your resume done nicely up to the interview preparation. Okay. Yeah, I think this is actually very important, and also yes, it's a wrap up of everything. Yes, not only your resume must look good, but also during interview you have to really get yourself.
So it's very important for the candidates to study about the company.
I would suggest for those like oh yes, it is very important. That's one of the most popular question that they will ask. Besides, tell me about yourself. They definitely ask, what do you understand about our company? And another suggestion that I would say is there's Google, right? Just Google what are the top interview questions, commonly asked interview questions. That's the most important. I'm quite surprised that quite a number of candidates came for interview unprepared. That is like the most common kind of questions. So that's the kind of
All right, so we have to keep
questions
Googling.
that you can prepare in front. Yes.
All right. Anything else from the floor? All the 22.
Patrick has a question. Assuming I'm an engineering graduate and currently looking for a job, however, in this current situation, what should I do since there are retrenchment everywhere? What is your advice?
Okay, of course there's like retrenchment here and there, but there are some industries who are actually actively hiring. For example, like the glove industries. Okay, like Top Glove is hiring actively. And for example, if let's just say you couldn't get an engineering job, but that doesn't mean that you can actually one of my suggestion would, you can actually try different kind of field, not necessarily in the engineering field. Then keep on trying. And there's one thing about like I mentioned to you, the LinkedIn social platform, right? That's a very useful platform at this stage of time, where you can really engage with the recruiters in LinkedIn of other companies. So get yourself visible. Okay, you must have some engagement with all the professionals in this industry, or whatever industry in Malaysia. So I would suggest that during this point of time, it's important for you to really equip yourself with all the skills. And if let's just say, unfortunately, you do not really secure a job out there, this is the time for you to like get some self-development kind of courses and improve yourself. And don't worry, like the economy will be getting better soon. Of course, it will be slower, but then this is just temporary. It's not the permanent thing.
Any other question, Ms. Vincent, do we have from the live?
No. So far, no.
Okay.
I have another.
Yeah, sure.
I have another thing that really ask question that I think most of you really have to be prepared on is, what do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, that's a very good question. So where do we see Enlight in 5 years' time, guys?
So
Continue enlightening
Sanjay,
people.
what would you actually, how would you actually answer this question?
Oh wow! I didn't saw that coming up all of a sudden. To me, my life is I already planned everything that I want to do, because I'm a person who has a vision. In my life, my educational goal is to get a PhD, all right, to get a doctorate, and my career would be an entrepreneur. So probably in 5 years, I would see myself owning a startup company and having some employees recommended by AR, and and running a business. So that's how I see myself. If I look at myself in 10 years, I really target myself to be a millionaire by 15 years from now. That's how I see myself, because I have high expectation of myself. So that's all about it. Yeah, being an entrepreneur and having a PhD.
So which means plan to be an entrepreneur in 5 years' time. So how are you going to achieve it?
So Enlight is one of the effort of it.
Now, how are you going to achieve
to
it?
find the right people with me, to gel with me, to have a startup. And what I'm doing currently is joining a lot of entrepreneur competition. I've joined with Mr. Vincent like 7, 8 competitions, which I get a lot of skills and knowledge about new ideas, about how to really construct a good business. So I'm actually learning since my university time. And as well as gelling with other students like Nicholas, Gabriel, these students from other expertise. They actually have different majors where I can learn how to finance a company from them. I can learn how to manage people from them. Like Nisha from marketing, I learned how to market products from her. So I'm actually building the small bricks from today. right? So maybe in 5 years, I'm gonna meet other people, like other entrepreneurs from other connections that I have, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
You know what is your plan. So most of the answers that the feedback, the answers that we receive, right, when we ask this question, like they will say like, oh, in 5 years time I plan to be a manager. Okay. But the thing is, then after that we will ask like, so how are you going to achieve that? Okay. So the best way to actually answer this question, right, is to lay out your 5 years plan.
Wow.
Especially if you're a fresh, especially if you're a fresh grad, you will say, okay, what you are doing to be good at what you are doing, to understand your job role in depth. Okay, then probably you say the second year is where you will try to find for improvement, things that you can improve in your job. Okay, like what are the things that you can do, what are things that you can improve, such as that. Then maybe you say the third year that you plan to hope that you are given an opportunity to actually lead a team or supervise a team, such as that. And you have to show them like step by step how you are going to do it in order to achieve your goal. Yeah.
All right, that's very helpful. Thank you, Ms. Adelene, for sharing. Right, so from my personal view, right, most MA students actually will go to student from student and ask. I always tell Mr. Vincent about this. When I ask the students, what is your ambition? Why are you here? The answer that they always give me is, my parents forced me to study. I don't know what I'm doing. And then there are some students that are very, very comfortable. Like knowing myself and the enlightens like Nicholas, Gabriel, Kwan, Nisha, and the other people here, they are here because they're worried of the employment, and that's why they're here to listen to your talks. But there are some students out there who are very comfortable, like going to party, not working on their resume, not working learning any skills, example like Excel. They don't really bother about it because they are so confident they're going to get employed in the future. So what is your advice or any motivation for these people?
What I will say is that if they do not want to learn, and if they do not want to improve themselves, there's nothing that we actually can help them. Okay.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. Because everything is come from within. Well, in terms of, you can't force someone to like, hey Sanjay, don't always party lah, come join, and like we have great sharing sessions. Then if that person doesn't feel that this is actually a need, okay, so that's their problem. What you guys can do is to actually influence them. Okay, and to bring out to influence them, so that to bring them to your cycle, to your circle. Okay, yeah, so influence them more positive way, and then keep on sharing good things with them. Okay, but if let's just say they insist of taking this too easily, feel so comfortable about themselves, then there's nothing that really we can do much.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the motivation and some message for the students. Maybe as a wrap up, we can ask some of the favorite questions that the interns in AR would like to ask them. What are the weirdest type of candidates you ever seen in your life? Maybe you can share to everybody.
Weirdest candidate. There's too many of them, we are not talking about fresh, right? We are talking about in general, right? Okay, okay. Here's one of the, I think, will be the most epic story throughout my 8 years as a recruiter. Wow. Okay, so basically, I did approach this guy, okay, an engineer, so to be placed for one of my clients in Seremban. Okay, so he has done the first round interview, a phone interview. And he got shortlisted for the second interview, okay, for a face-to-face interview. And then later on, he texts me and say, "Hi, Adeline, I have something that I need to disclose to you." He's a male, okay? He's a male, okay? So he was saying that something to disclose to you. I have some hormone issues, Okay.
Wow.
Then I was like, oh, what do you mean by that? They say, I have the female organ, that part, the upper part. Then I was like, okay. then, then after that, I said, don't worry, let me talk to my client, because like everyone is equal, there's no discrimination such as that. I'll check with them whether they are okay or not, this and that. They said, do you have any like proof or photo to show me that I can, Then he literally took a photo of himself like this, a selfie photo with his breast.
No. What? Oh my God. Wow.
In his uniform.
Oh
Dear
my
candidates. Please don't do this.
Please.
Wow.
Yes. That's like the most epic stories I ever heard.
Wow.
And then of course we have a lot of kidnapping stories from my other colleagues, like got kidnapped by someone, went to Thailand, this and that. Couldn't call the police because he actually went with the mistress or something like that. Yeah, we have a lot of these kind of weird candidates.
Ah, all right. So thank you for that, Miss Elizabeth. That's a very funny sharing. Mani was actually enjoying it. And same goes to
Guys,
others.
please don't do that. Please don't do that.
All right. So
if
maybe
you guys want
Yeah.
to reject us, please do it professionally. We can accept rejections. Really, don't give us
Yeah.
excuses. Okay.
Just like got kidnapped too much. Okay. Another question from Patrick. It's about everybody can answer the same question, like having similar strengths or skills. Favorite question asked by interviewer is what is the difference between you and others? Why should I hire you? It's actually the question that actually Damien threw to me yesterday. Remember?
Yes, Sanjay. Why should we hire you?
Yeah. So you can answer that question by Patrick.
Yeah. So I think most important is you have to showcase your strength. Okay. What are the strengths and qualities you have that you can actually contribute to the company? Okay, that is related to the position that you applied to. Okay.
Mhm.
So for example, like I mentioned just now, like for example, like a sales and marketing kind of position, right? So you, as a fresh grad, you can actually say what sets you apart from other candidates that you actually have experience, like doing like organizing events or doing some marketing campaigns, develop any like manage like social medias, marketing, this and that, which you think that you can actually help them for this position. So you have to always relate it to the position. So most important is to always to actually say your strength and your values. What are the things that is valuable that you can bring to the company?
All right.
Yeah, don't give them like I'm hardworking, I'm responsible. Don't give something like that. That's way too
Too
common
general.
already.
Everybody can say that,
Yes.
right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So do we have any other questions from the floor? Anyone from Google Meet or Insta Live? You can have it now.
So far tak ada. From my side don't have.
All right, so maybe we can wrap up the whole session. So thank you so much for Miss Adeline for being with us, sharing a lot of tips. It's very, very, very helpful for all of us. And for those who are watching this right now, maybe in the upcoming session, we can have some topics that you can suggest to us. Maybe something that you would really like to know. You would like to have another session with Miss Adeline or anybody else regarding any topics. You can just let us know. And Mr. Vincent, anything you'd like to add on?
Yeah, I think the take points that all of you here, most of you are students here, and some of you I see that you are already graduated and you're finding for a job. So those who are in my Insta live also, these are very, very important and good points for you guys to take. All right, because the job hunting gets even more much more intense compared to the previous years. With all the situations happening now, you have to make sure that you're not, people say you have to be the cream out of the cake. No more anymore. No, you have to create your own cake right now. You have to be your own self. You have to make sure that the value that Miss Adeline mentioned, because some of you have strength, but you don't know how to make sure that strength transform into the value for the company. That is the problem of fresh grad right now. So you have to make sure you have to really ask yourself, take some time to ask yourself, who am I, what I want to be. You need to have a goal, everything. You have to set up your planning and preparation for this interview. It's very super important. Okay. So I hope that this benefits everybody. And to those who missed this session, because I saw some of you just entered the session. So the video you can get on Enlight YouTube channel and also Enlight Facebook page. Right? So if you want to get in touch with me, Adeline, also you can get her details, or some of you already plan to write a resume already, want to submit to her.
Yeah.
Okay, Money.
Yeah,
You
so
can actually get her contacts.
later we
You
will
can
make
get
a
her contacts
template.
in our Enlight as well.
Later we make a template
we'll make
about
a
Miss
template.
Adeline profile with the email address, LinkedIn, and you can just send your CV to her. All right. So anything else
Okay,
from
over to you.
anyone? Enlighters? So we can just wrap up the session, yeah? So thank you, Miss Adeline. That was very helpful. Maybe we can have you soon, and you can be prepared for a bunch of resume to be blasted to you soon by the viewers.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, we can end the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. And the Enlighters can stay, maybe.